this material is fantastic. We haven't found a material that can be molded, shaped into anything we want, that's cheap and really convenient. We've never found this until 1852. So we found this fantastic material that lasts forever, that no microbe can break down, but the application is often what causes the problem. If we use a material designed to last for thousands of years for a plastic bag, that's life is usually 25 to 30 minutes, it's a silly application of the material. In 2012, global plastic production was about 288 million metric tons. 50% of this was for one-time use. This is what's causing the pollution. This is what you see piled up to the roof at the eco-service because we use a lot of single-use plastics.
தெருக்களில் விற்று வரக்கூடியவங்களும் அவங்களுடைய பயன்பாட்டிலையும் அது கிடையாது. நடுவில் நுழைஞ்சது, ஆனால் நுழைஞ்ச வேகம் அசுர வேகமாக இருந்தது. அதுதான் ஆச்சரியப்படத்தக்க ஒரு விஷயம். முதல்ல அத்தியாவசியமான பொருள்களாக நுழைஞ்சது பேஸ்ட்டு, அதுக்கான ஒரு விஷயம், அல்லது ப்ரஷ்ஷு, அப்புறம் மக்கு, இப்படி நுழைஞ்ச ஒரு விஷயம். ஒரு ஸ்டேஜில் அது இல்லாமல் நம்ம இருக்க மாட்டோம் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரியான ஒரு இது வந்தது.
Last 1.5 years, we are storing all the plastic here instead of putting landfill. Our aim not to put plastic inside in the land. It takes 600 years to decompose. 600 years means you can just think how many generations it will be suffer.
Single-use plastic bag, nobody picks them up because we can sell them, if we're very lucky, maybe 2 rupees a kilo, and nobody is going to stock that much plastic bag to make a kilo to get 2 rupees. You can't do much with 2 rupees. So it's just flying.
பிளாஸ்டிக்னால பலவிதமான கஷ்டங்கள் ஏற்படுது, பலவித உயிர் சேதங்களே ஏற்படுது. கால்நடைகளை பல காரியங்கள் கால்நடை இறந்து போகுது. பிளாஸ்டிக் போட்டு அதில் காய்கறியை போட்டு பொடிச்சு போட்டுடுறாங்க. அது போய் மென்று தின்னு பார்க்குறது கொஞ்ச நேரம் அப்படியே விழுங்கிடுது.
So at the eco-service we saw that one-time use plastic is really a big problem. It's often dirty, so it doesn't get recycled. We're seeing the impacts on the environment everywhere. From our research with no plastics over the last 3 years, we saw that this is one of the biggest trends. You see it now with the UN taking on plastics. Any newspaper you open, if you look through a month's edition, will have something about single-use plastics or something about plastic pollution or a cleanup. This is like a global trend.
I got inspired by a Facebook group which is called Zero Waste India. And on this group, they exchange a lot of knowledge, information, questions about zero waste. In zero waste, there are 5 principles. The first is refuse, then reduce, reuse, then only recycle, and then the last one is to rot. Basically, it's compost.
That's our...
So upcycling for me, it's the ultimate of design. It's I know why I'm doing design because I'm reducing the waste. So this is for me important to go this way, and especially in Auroville.
In Auroville, we are having now 340 places to collect. We request the community at least 6 categories they have to segregate it. One will be plastic, paper, mixed waste. Mixed waste means they don't know where to put what. That's a mixed waste, like a cloth and shoes, chappal, and maybe the Tetra Pak and all. So they put a mixed waste. One will be metal, one glass, another one sanitary. So we went to visit some companies in Hyderabad and Pondicherry and all. So what they are recycling, what they wanted, instead of putting landfill, I wanted to reduce and segregate it more and more higher quality. So maximum 60 categories was started. Now we are going to the micro segregated, it will go 83 category. We recycle 70 to 73%. So only 27 to 28% we put a landfill.
As soon as you take off the wet waste, means all the organic things, your waste will have more value. So you can resell it and recycle it.
It's really forward-thinking that on World Environment Day, Tamil Nadu government announced that they were going to ban certain one-time use plastic items. We're actually working with Tamil Nadu government right now because of this ban and help partnering with them to educate children all across the states.
எப்போ இந்த பிளாஸ்டிக் வந்ததோ அதுக்கு நம்ம சோம்பேறி ஆயிட்டோம். ஒரு பொருளை எடுத்துட்டு போறதுக்கு சோம்பேறி ஆனதனால தான் இதிலிருந்து அதிகமாயிடுச்சு. இப்போ அரசாங்கம் இதை தடை பண்ணிடுச்சு அப்படின்னாக்கா நமக்கு அதில் பிரச்சனையே கிடையாது. ஏன்னா நமக்கு அதுக்கு தீர்வு இருக்கு. தீர்வு என்னன்னாக்கா நம்ம போகும்போது நம்மளோட எப்பயுமே ஒரு துணி பை கொண்டு போகிறது.
இது ரொம்ப நல்ல விஷயம். இது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப போற்றக்கூடிய விஷயம். என்ன எதிர்கால சன்னதிகள் சுகாதாரமாக வாழணுன்றதுக்காக இந்த முடிவு எடுத்திருக்கிறாங்க.
So there's 7 numbers in triangles with an acronym that tell you about the chemical composition of a plastic. So without knowing these numbers or resin codes, you don't really know how that plastic is made or what chemicals are added into it. So this was kind of like the language to understanding plastics.
Don't use plastic, 7, 6 and 3. Avoid these plastics if you wanna be healthy. But most important of all, stop one-time use. Most important of all, stop one-time use. 3, 6, 7 are the numbers to beware. Toxic chemicals are hiding in there. Avoid these plastics, the other kind reduce, but most important of all,
stop one-time use.
Don't use plastic, 7, 6 and 3. Avoid these plastics if you wanna be healthy, but most important of all, stop one-time use. Most important of all, stop one-time use.
That Tetra Pak in Auroville we are consuming. So they are using upcycling with that and 20%. 80% we don't know what to do. We're keeping stock when without solution. So we'll see what will happen, those things.
Normally in design, you start with an idea, you go to the matter. Upcycling, you have the matter, a lot of matter, and you have to find ideas. In industry, you have copyright. It's very important, copyright. You are the designer, you are on top, nobody can copy you. Upcycling is not only you want, but you need to be copied to reduce the waste.
So if you want to refuse waste, for instance, you refuse straws, you want to avoid as much packaging in plastic as possible, means you would buy in bulk, reduce also the amount of recyclables. Because then you want to reuse, you buy secondhand, you buy from a flea market, then finally recycle. The last one is to rot, means composting, vegetables and fruits, but means also hair, nails, some types of paper to turn it into new soil, which you can use after to grow some stuff. And that's how you are closing the loop finally. In a zero-waste lifestyle, we don't want to waste or lose any resource.
One thing that this legislation does to us is it takes our focus away from the massive problem. Most of the plastic problem is in our packaging. It's in everything we buy every day. It's your soap, it's your rice, it's your toothpaste, it's whatever you're buying, your food, your bread, your milk, everything is packed in plastic. Now that's not featuring in the legislation because we as a global society have become addicted to plastic, addicted to that convenience that our grandparents never had.
Europe, per people is producing much more waste, but you don't see the waste anymore. It's hidden, it's burned, but here it's everywhere. So people are afraid.
நம்ம நாட்டில் இந்த பிளாஸ்டிக்கோடைய பயன்பாடு ரொம்ப குறைவு. இப்போ அது எப்போ அதிகமாக உள்ளே வர ஆரம்பிச்சதோ அப்போலேருந்து தான் இந்த பிரச்சனை பிரித்து வைக்கக்கூடிய பிரச்சனைகள். இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்ம தோட்டத்தில் பார்த்தோன்னாக்கா நம்ம குப்பை ஒன்று வச்சுருப்போம். அந்த குப்பையில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா வெறும் நம்ம வீட்டில் மீறக்கூடிய பொருள், வீட்டை பெருக்கி எடுத்துகிட்டு போயிற கொட்டுற குப்பை, காய்கறிகளுடைய வேஸ்ட்டு, இந்த எச்சங்கள் இதெல்லாமே தான் வந்து நம்ம வந்து ஒரு குப்பைன்னு சொல்லுவோம்.
I think it comes from habits and culture. When you think that not that many years ago, plastic wasn't in the daily use, right? Everything was in paper, everything was in leaves. You chuck it. The cows eat it, the termites eat it, and that's it. Today you chuck it, nor the cows might eat it, but the termites don't, and then it flies around. So the implication of actually the impact of your action is not really assimilated.
When you're talking about closing up the tap, we're talking about the amount of waste we produce in each of our homes, right? And if you look at the developed economies, we look at Europe or America, the amount of waste they produce, average person in Europe is like 1.3 kilos. The average person in the US is like 2.5 kilos. That lifestyle is not sustainable. It's huge consumption and huge waste production. And what's really cool about India is that we haven't become addicted to that lifestyle yet. And our per capita waste production is less than half a kilo. So we have a lot to teach. Auroville has a lot to learn from the people around here about thrift, about using materials consciously, about not over-consuming, about respecting Mother Earth.
இந்த வகையிலான ஒரு டைமோட பயன்படுத்தி தூர தூக்கி போடக்கூடியதை முதல்ல ஒழிக்கலாம். அடுத்தது வந்து நம்முடைய பாரம்பரியத்தை மீட்டு கொண்டு வர நீடித்த நிலைத்த முன்னேற்றத்திற்கான பொருட்களை நம்ம வந்து பயன்படுத்தலாம். ஆனால் என்னை பொறுத்தளவுக்கு வந்து தமிழர்கள் நினைச்சா நிச்சயமாக முடியும்.
I find that this zero waste lifestyle is that it makes you very creative. It makes you think twice about what you buy, how you buy, because buying is voting. So if you buy packaged industrial stuff, you vote for industrialization. You vote somehow for the destruction of local knowledge or traditions.
If we're a proper example, and if they want to find solution, and if we get a proper setup, the only thing we can be is a prototype of a working setup that they can recreate. Because when you think about it, 6 ladies, 1 driver, 2 vehicles, you don't need such a big setup to do it.
And not only for us, it's for environment. When they put everything together, it's dirty, we can't recycle. When you clean one plastic, even you clean and put it there, that will be you're helping to recycle that plastic instead of putting landfill.
Because if you think about waste management, what we're all doing all around the world is kind of picking up litter, it's trying to recycle, it's all mopping. And what we need to do is start closing the tap, reducing waste even before we get it, before it's created. And if you can do that any way in your life, any small way, and achieve some success, try to repeat doing it, that's the best thing you can start with.
Stop one-time use.
Plastics ain't bad if we're clever how we use them. It only gets sad when we overuse them.
One-time use.
Is what we wanna fight. Landfills and burning just ain't right. Just ain't right.